You know what? There are coming of age movies. And then there's Welcome to the Dollhouse. Bleak, dark, and savage. Everybody coming up, 12, you were going to have it hard. But nobody was going to have it harder than Dawn Wiener.
I can't stay.
Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss Welcome to the Dollhouse. Now this movie is from 1995 and it stars Heather Matarazzo. Now before we get into all things, why do you hate me so much? Because you're ugly. I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that. Then we're going to come back and discuss. What we're not going to do is act like, amongst all the despair, that this movie is not hilarious in its own way, and that Welcome to the Dollhouse does not slap like the song that's like, Welcome to the Dollhouse, it slaps in a Addams Family Monsters kind of way. I'm here for it. Now that you guys have hopefully subscribed to see more of me, let's get into this movie. But before we jump into the film, I have to give a shout out to the person who paid for it and requested it. So if you happen to want to join Dawn's Special People Club, it's not because of me, it's because of this person right here. Thank you so much for supporting me and paying for this content. Now getting into this movie, it was directed, written, and produced all by the same individual, a Mr. Todd Solondz, who has a John Waters appeal in his writing and directing, in my opinion, meaning that his movies are all a little indie, offbeat, quirky, dark in humor, and morbid, but they work and they are all individually his own. If you were to enjoy films like Heathers, Ghost World, Saved, Serial Mom, Jawbreakers, or Hairspray, you are in damn good company with Todd. And the same could go for Heather, with this being her first movie role. If you didn't meet Heather here as Dawn, you most definitely met her as Lily in the Princess Diary Disney movies. And depending on how she feels, in spite of or because of this being her first role, she became stereotyped and often cast to be that same nerdy outcast, may not be what's acceptable in society to be the conventionally attractive female, so she is the plain Jane. Nobody on this planet at 12 could have conveyed what we needed here to play Dawn except for Heather. Now we meet Dawn Wiener as a shy, awkward, nerdy, outcast 7th grader who's bullied by damn near every single person she encounters. I love meeting Dawn and getting into just how relatable she is. I don't care who you are going to see yourself inside Dawn, because everyone has had a moment of not feeling accepted, not feeling like they're good enough, and longing to be so. But until then, I'm lonely, trying to figure out what's wrong with me, what I could do when it's not actually you and you are just surrounded by assholes. Individuals also seeking and lacking self-acceptance, so they are taking it out on someone they may feel is beneath them. From Brandon to Lolita, and even Dawn herself when it comes to her baby sis Missy, and even her bestie Ralph. There is absolutely no escape, no relief, reprieve for Dawn anywhere. And this isn't just tied to same age school bullies. No, this goes for teachers and even Dawn's immediate family. We have Dawn's father, who is either silent or completely agreeable with whatever his wife says. Go along to get along. Dawn, why can't you just do this? That's if and when he's acknowledging her at all. we have her older brother Mark, whose character I really love because when we're getting into societal standing, he should be mocked and bullied just as much as Don, but he isn't. Though nerdy and maybe considered to be an outcast, he's also commended for his brains and intelligence and the commitment he has to his garage band. He isn't seeking acceptance or grasping for a girl's attention. Actually, he's shunning it, not focusing on sex because it's all about my career, what I'm gonna do in the future. That can all come later when I rightfully become who I'm supposed to be. I love the way that this movie can be applied to everyday life, adult life. There may not be a whole lot of room for Dons, and Dons may face all the hurdles of the world, but Mark, your Steve Jobs, your Bill Gates, your Elon Musk, may not be, the most attractive, but intelligence will get me where I need to be. The women, the money, even the fame will come later. And then you have the bane of Dawn's existence, her mother and her baby sister, Missy. Oh, how the favoritism is strong with this one. Dawn's mom does not at all try to hide the fact that Missy is her favorite child. Not only in a that's my youngest, my baby kind of way, more so this is how I always envisioned my children looking. Beautiful, blonde hair, innocent, unassuming, blue eyes, just a doll running around with ballerina dreams. Unlike Dawn, who's socially awkward, unpopular, has no friends, and spends way too much time alone in her special people's club. Why can't you be more like Missy? Or at least more agreeable in the bigger person. After all, aren't you the oldest sister? Meanwhile, Missy, being spoiled and a manipulator, goes unchecked. I love how symbolic it is that Missy is running around in this pink tutu, constantly prancing and dancing as to say that she will always have it easy. Meanwhile, girls like Dawn will most definitely have it hard and be coined terms like Wiener-Dog. You really revel in these dark moments with Dawn, drawing you into her as a character as well as finding laughter in these really bleak circumstances. Like Dawn's mother, facilitating resentment that she's going to carry with her way off into adult life beyond Missy and beyond Mark, because currently we are allowing them to divvy up and split her chocolate cake because Dawn is behaving in the manner that I don't appreciate right now. We're gonna let them go ahead and tear down her clubhouse, even though we know at this moment it means everything to her. Not so much the trash ass appearance, because baby, the special people club was dry. Absolutely dry. But this is the one thing here in this home, in my space, in my world, that is just undisputedly mine in my creation alone. Don't tear down my clubhouse. When Bully Lolita makes Dawn take a shit just because she can, the way that I freaking cackle. When the teacher, the unobserving, unconcerned, uncaring ass teacher, makes Dawn not only have detention, but write a paper and read aloud on dignity, because why don't you have any? Crazy, absolutely crazy. Because who in the hell gets constantly penalized when they are trying to do the right thing? Dawn, that's who. And that couldn't be more reflective of real life than anything. No, sometimes you still don't win, even when you do the right thing. But what I do appreciate about this movie is the fact that Dawn is a fighter. Now, we are weirdly complacent at unfortunate times, which we are definitely going to discuss why. But she doesn't mind being argumentative when necessary, returning an insult, sticking up for herself in only the way that she can. Though she knows she will probably be the one chewed out for it. Because what the hell were you doing shooting a spitball for? For what, Dawn? I was fighting back. Well, whoever told you to fight back? Like... Or, Dawn, you're not leaving the table unless you tell your little sister that you love her. Oh yeah, I will sit here all damn night. I will sit here all damn night if I choose to. I freaking refuse. We love that about Dawn. Now, Dawn has two of the most unlikely beacons of hope, or scapegoats, that she perceives will remove her from this adolescent nerdy behavior that's holding her back from being accepted and maybe even popular. Steve and a relentless bully, Brandon. Now, Dawn becomes absolutely infatuated with the long-haired, rock star ambitious teen and current front man of Mark's band, believing that if I get closer to him by proximity, it will up my status and popularity as a middle schooler to be something to this high schooler. But not just something to Steve. No, Dawn plans to beautify herself and hopefully sleep with Steve, since Mark says he'll sleep with just about anybody if you are giving it up. Young Dom not even realizing the ramifications of what that actually means or what sex really means at that age, just knowing the sensations of what it feels like to have somebody older just talk to her and want her around, but not in that moment acknowledging that Steve doesn't see her as anything more than maybe just a little girl, maybe even a special little girl, the term used back then, because the clubhouse for special people is giving special. I think for the entirety of the movie, he was probably giving her even more time of the day because he thought that Dawn was mentally challenged, which is crazy. As well as Dawn indulging and hanging on to his every word about his future ambitions to be whomever. Not only that, but Dawn being so young and impressionable, not really acknowledging what it means to care for and give your virginity to someone like a Steve who does not deserve it and is not going a singular place. But every single girl around me seems to be getting the attention that I crave, and either they're conventionally beautiful or they are sexually active and promiscuous. Since I am being told time and time again that I am not and will never be the beautiful one, the best thing I could do is give it up. But unlike some of those girls, Dawn isn't doing this just for acceptance and popularity, or even just because she is crushing on the likes of Steve. Dawn is acting this way because she is not receiving enough care, affection, and attention outside of the home or inside of the home, which makes her desperately crave it. Now, speaking of desperate, let's get into Brandon, because that young boy is a whole special case. Psychopath in the making, if you ask me. Brandon is just as complex and is one of my favorite characters, right along with Dawn, because they both have so much in common. He is an outcast and identifies a whole lot with Dawn, but is too embarrassed to admit that to himself and others, so he chooses to act out and display his dominance as a bully to have some type of power and autonomy over the situation. He picks on and at Dawn more than anybody else. Even Lolita, who picks on Dawn to spite her just for Brandon giving her the attention that she wants because he's her crush. But why? Because just like Dawn, he too seems to be coming from a broken situation. They are clearly living in poverty. He isn't made a priority. He is often considered the problematic child. There doesn't seem to be a mother within the home, and he has a choice for a father. And though Dom is middle class and has a two-parent household, that depth of loneliness that they share is exactly the same. They both long for acceptance with the in crowd and their peers. We see this in the way that Brandon reacts to not being invited to the most popular girl in school's birthday party, and even in the way that he tries to get that invitation by, in the most sensitive way that we've seen him in the movie outside of a few moments with Dawn, giving her a cookie, a positive gesture. I really want to come to this party and be treated like everybody else. They're both projected on by other people who assume they know who they are and what they're up to, often with Brandon being considered, even though that's what he presents facing, nothing but a delinquent and a troublemaker. If something happened, 9 times out of 10, you definitely did it. But unlike Dawn, rarely does Brandon try to do the right thing to try to beat the odds and get that perception off of him of who people might think he is. No, Brandon is depraved, abusive, and overtly disrespectful. You don't know if you want to hug Brandon or lock him the hell up, often verbally and physically abusing others on a daily basis. But when it comes to Dawn, we take this a whole notch and step further when she, in the heat of a retaliation argument, calls Brandon an R-word. Brandon just happens to have, unbeknownst to Dawn, a mentally challenged brother, and he takes this personal enough to harass Dom and tell her that he's going to grape her. Why? Why? And it's not even funny. The way that it is given to us, which is crazy, it makes it funny, but it's definitely not funny to see Dawn looking over her shoulder, him constantly giving her the gun and the wink, like, yeah, girl, I'm gonna get you after school. What kind of disturbed mess is that? Grabbing Dawn, cornering her, placing a knife on her, only to be caught because a janitor interrupts the moment. Okay, fine. If I didn't get you at this moment, I'm gonna physically call your house, harass you, and tell you to meet me same time, same place tomorrow, because I'm definitely gonna grape you then. What is a girl to do? In Dawn's case, and where her mental state is, Dawn is gonna show up to be great. What? Because these two troubled teens are one and the same. Dawn is so lonely that any attention is better than no attention. Are you actually gonna grade me? Are we actually is this gonna be me losing my virginity? Maybe I can get closer to that popularity. There's just such a disconnect because the both of them are such outsiders. Warped? Absolutely. But hear me out. All of this grapey talk, when in actuality, we just wanted a friend to talk to, hang out with at the chill spot, and confide in about some of our inner thoughts, or even our mentally challenged brother. Show a softer side to Dawn and also engage in her first kiss. But you can't tell anybody. If you tell anybody I brought you here, tell anybody I kissed you, told anybody that I was any type of sensitivity to you, I will grape you for real. Yeah. What? But can we even really indulge in this blossoming relationship? No, we can't. Why? Because at the end of the day, Brandon is still ashamed to be seen with, to talk to even admit that he cares about and likes Dawn. Even really plays on those tropes of, oh, if a boy likes you, especially at that age, he's gonna hit you, he's gonna pick on you. Even though those things seem really small in the grander scheme of you being adult, for some, it can warp your perception on how your relationship can go with the opposite sex, assuming that if you care about me, you're gonna treat me in this sort of way, when sort of ways might not be the best way. That's why I love when Dawn goes, Brandon, I can't be your girlfriend. I'm in love with somebody else. And he storms off and he's just all kind of pissed and upset, as if you were ever going to claim or be middle school, don't care. As if you was gonna stand 10 toes down for Dawn. You never was. If them people even thought about accepting you, you would drop her like a bad habit and act like you didn't know her. You already got her secret. But after both of Dawn's prospects disappeared and are alienated for separate reasons, we have Steve decide to make it in the big city and run away and move as if she ever stood a chance. Aren't you a part of that special club? Girl, I ain't going in that special club. Isn't that for special people? Wink, wink. Going on, youngin'. I ain't got time. I don't have time. You have the likes of Brandon getting into more of that delinquency, trouble. Did or didn't he do it? Who knows? He said he didn't. We believe him. But anyway, I'm not sticking around for anybody's reform school, any penalties, being kicked out of nowhere. I'm running away, going off to the big city as well. I love how it's very rugged, like, done, you coming with me. It's now or never. Like, they're like 12. I can't go with you. I just can't. Like, it's just so emotional, and they're so old and young in their dynamic at the exact same time, because Brandon seems all of 38 and the way that he acts and the way that he feels like he's been through so much in his home and even just in this world. There's just nothing left for me here. If we're going now or we're not going at all. And it's just like, I can't do it. We can't go at this point, not only because what the hell, we're gonna run away to the big city at 12 and do what exactly? My sister is missing. Let's get into the ending of the film and Missy. Now, all of the buildup that we have with Missy, especially when we're getting into Dawn, which makes you worry for her character and her escalation because she is so unhappy. Whether it is her acting out and shunning her only friend, Ralphie, we have this deep-rooted hatred at this point for Missy to the point that we are not only destroying her property, cutting the heads off her Barbies, feeling depraved enough to wave a hammer over a sleeping Missy, because I could kill you. I could end you right now after we go out and smash that family videotape of Missy pushing me in the kiddie pool and the family just thinking that it was so damn funny. I hate it here. I even love their dynamic. Like, it just says so much. The detail of them watching things and sitting in that family room, and the three of them, the husband, Missy, and the mom is on the couch, and then you even have brother Mark sitting on the little love seat type ottoman situation. Where's Dawn? On the floor where she belongs. You can't sit with us. You can't sit with us. Like, Dawn, get out of here. It's just it's all in the details. Giving the task by the mother to simply relay to the baby sis to get picked up by a friend and dropped off after dance class because I won't be there to pick you up. Already disgruntled, per usual, Dawn does not relay this message to Missy, who ends up being kidnapped by a neighbor. Now, what I love about Dawn, which is actually troubling, is that we have the whole family acting accordingly. The police is there. We're looking. There's teams. There's posters. We have to find my baby. The mother is distraught. The father is down and out and sick. Like, oh, my baby's missing. Dawn is kind of reveling in the fact that Missy is gone. Maybe now I can get some attention and be the important one. Not at all really just thinking about what could be happening to the sister, what condition she could be in. Oh my God, like, no. Maybe now I can, like, I love when she goes to check on the dad and she's like, well, if we don't find Missy, you always have me and Mark. And he's like, oh God. The last thing I wanted you to find Missy now. And sadly, even in these particular circumstances, this doesn't bring the family any closer. They don't gravitate instantly to, let me appreciate the daughter that I have and shower down with all this love. It could have been Dawn. And no, we are going to relentlessly search for Missy and still ignore Dawn. So Dawn, wanting this to be her moment to shine, if I can't get attention this way, finding that tutu in New York and me going on my own escapade to put up posters of Missy, find Missy, love this scene when she is having the dream, sleeping on the street, and it's, we love you, Dawn. Hey, Dawn. Every person that she encounters that has been nasty to her is finally saying, we love you, we accept you, we see you. Everything that she could have ever wanted, but it is simply a dream. We actually wake up in New York to a phone call of, not only did we actually find Missy, but we're really pissed off that you decided to go AWOL and go search for your sister. Get on back here. Everything is back to normal. As a matter of fact, Missy is home, and the only thing that happened with her depraved kidnapper was that he let her do whatever she wanted to do. Let her eat and have whatever she wanted to have. Indulge, candy, TV, dance, tutu. He just found pleasure in looking at her. She maybe actually didn't want to come home. She was living her best life this whole time. Poor Missy. Let me at least talk to Mom, explain what I was doing here, see how she's feeling now that Missy is back. Mom can't even bother to come to the phone because my precious is back home. Gosh, do I hate it here. Matter of fact, Mark, this is middle school. Does it get any easier when we get to high school? No, Dom, hell no, it doesn't. Not at all, Don. I love how just bleak the movie ends, all the way up to this trip that has been planned the entire school year for Dawn and some other girls at school to have the chance to visit the happiest place on earth, Disneyland. What kind of teenage girl doesn't want to go to Disneyland? The kind that is unhappy within her own home and is not going to find happiness even if she's in the happiest place on earth. Why? None of the people on this trip even acknowledge, like, or care about me. I'd rather be alone or in my clubhouse. I love how we end off the movie with Dawn singing along in the most disgruntled, almost tear-jerking, breaking down way. I hate it here, literally. There's no chance for Dawn. But we leave off hoping that she's still a fighter, she's strong, and she's gonna be one of the ones to make it through and hang in there. Well, you guys, that was my review for you guys, that was my review for Welcome to the Dollhouse. I hope you enjoyed it. Please drop down and tell me if you did. This video, as well as every single one coming after this one, was a long time coming. Do understand that I have not been able to post anything outside of going live due to YouTube just being weird with my channel and not knowing what the hell is going on. But hopefully now all of that has subsided and we can get back to regularly scheduled programming. I'm so happy. Even down to my little stick, like things are broken. So I have this ring light here because this is all I have to use at the moment. So excuse the glare in the glasses temporarily, but I really wanted to get some content out to you guys because I miss this format and I miss engaging with you in this way. Please let me know how you feel about Welcome to the Dollhouse. Do you have any memories of it? Have you ever seen it? And how do you feel about it now as an adult? I look forward to reading your comments as usual. I see you guys next time for my next video because we have a whole lot more coming. Bye.
Commissioner!